Welcome back, the Pop 'em Don't Watch 'em Whiskey YouTube channel. Great review today. Today we're going to do the Thomas S. Moore Extended Finish Series here tonight on the channel. Now when I went to Kentucky to pick up one of our barrel picks, I had a list of bottles I wanted to get, hope I would run into. These two bottles were on that list. The first store we ran into, both of them were sitting on the counter, bought them, never saw them again on the entire trip between Tennessee and Kentucky. I don't know how limited they're going to be. I know it's going to be once a year release out of Barton. As far as distribution at Sazerac, so you never know, but I can tell you right now, I've not seen these local in Louisiana, and I saw them in one store leading in. So today we have the Cabernet Sauvignon Finish. This one is 95.3 proof, and we have the Chardonnay Finish. This one is 97.9 proof. There is a port finish. I did not want the port finish. I didn't buy it. I didn't see it. But even if I would have saw it, just didn't want the port finish. I actually love port wine. Not a fan of port finished bourbons. I say that. I know the cask strength from last year, Angel's Envy won it, but I just didn't want the port finish. I thought the Cab and the Chardonnay were different, and those are the two I went with. So let's do a little recap, a little history. Who's Thomas S. Moore? What is it? So Thomas S. Moore started a distillery, Bardstown, Kentucky, 1889. It was one of the first distilleries in Bardstown, and it made Bardstown what it is today. Bardstown now is basically the Mecca for bourbon. It was closed during Prohibition, reopened as Barton Distillery. So it's the same one. Now it's Barton, which is owned by Sazerac. So Barton named this line after Thomas S. Moore to honor his spirit of innovation, his forward thinking when it comes to bourbon. And the way they finished this is very, very innovative when it comes to bourbon. The spring where they get the water from in Barton is named the Thomas Moore Spring. So this line is the Extended Cask Series. The master distiller over at Barton, Danny Kahn, said the difference is he's going to age these between 2 to 5 years. Finish. He's going to finish these 2 to 5 years. He claims, the regular 4 to 8 month finish, it pulls out the taste of whatever liquid was in it first, but it doesn't really get deep into that barrel to get the original char, the original wood from the cooperage. He wants to get all of that. So he is finishing these between 2 to 5 years. It is 5 to 7 year old Barton juice. He also has hinted there's a cognac, a sherry, and a tawny port finish in the works. Now tawny port, that one I would like to taste. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's see what it's all about. We're going to start with the Cabernet Finish. So right off the bat, you smell that Cabernet, that finish. I was big into wine before I got into whiskey. That's actually how I transitioned into whiskey. I do believe that's why my palate, my nose, does as well as it does. I can pick up those notes. I mean, this almost tastes like smells like a glass of Cab. Very grapey. It's got that musty smell. I can smell that mustiness from the wine cask you get. A little bit of chocolate. It's grapey. A little bit of nuttiness. It's almost like a grape, like a peanut butter and jelly almost, but it's just musty. It's not as sweet as that peanut. It has a little bit of a nutty peanut to it, but it's not a strong peanut. It's more like a dust. So, as you see, we're rocking the Drew Brees jersey. He retired this week. What a career. Brought New Orleans out of the dead to a Super Bowl champion. A toast to Drew Brees. Enjoy retirement, brother. Okay. Wow. A lot going on. Changing. Keeps changing. So right up front, that nuttiness really comes through. Definitely, it's like the peanut dust. It's not like a creamy peanut butter. It's a peanut dust. Grape influence from the cab hits right in the middle. Has a little bit of spice, not much. But that musty characteristic. If some of y'all ever had a lot of finishes or an older bourbon, which this is not an older bourbon, you get like a mustiness from those old cask, which these could be, I don't know how old the wine casks are, but these could be older. You can really taste that mustiness. It's not off-putting, but it stands out on the palate. Let's get another sip. Yeah, that mustiness, that's a very distinct flavor I'm getting from it. It's a little bit of, it's drying, it's not thin, it's not oily, it's not viscous. A little bit of chocolate on the back end. It gets sweeter on the back end. The wine influence really comes through on the back end. Little chocolate, little grape. The nuttiness stays all the way through. Not bad, not bad. Now this is the one I was looking forward to, the Chardonnay Finish. Chardonnay is a buttery white wine. So it was interesting to see what would this do to bourbon. Well, let's find out. Oh, tons sweeter. Oh, so much sweeter. Better nose on the Chardonnay so far. If it comes down to the nose wins. Chardonnay, definitely. Very sweet apple, pear. You can smell that buttery Chardonnay. Oh man, that's a great nose. A little bit of cinnamon in there, the caramel. But man, yeah, I mean, it's like a apple orchard. Man, very bright. Cheers. Okay, so right off the back on this one, that butteriness, the butteriness really comes through on the palate. It just rolls on the tongue like butter. Has a, how can I put it? It's like a cooked butter flavor to it. Almost like a brown butter, I guess you can say. But it's sweet at the same time. The apple, the pear comes through. I'm not getting any spice whatsoever. But that Chardonnay influence, very buttery. Man, that nose. Yeah, same. Also has that mustiness. So both of them have a mustiness. I can see how it could be a little off-putting to somebody. I don't mind it. I like that. I like the age. I like the tobacco flavors. I like that. The old chocolate, the tobacco, the leather. I like that in a bourbon. Now, these aren't leather. It's a distinct mustiness, which sometimes you do get from finishing in a wine cask. So, if I had to pick one, I'm going the Chardonnay. I know these are around 80 bucks, but it's Sazerac. It seems like it's going to be hard to get. I don't know how much they're going on the secondary. I'm trying not to follow the secondary anymore because it's getting absolutely outrageous. But if you had to see one, you saw three, and you said, man, I got to pick one, I'd go with the Chardonnay. It's a different experience on a bourbon with that Chardonnay finish. That butteriness really comes through. And if you drink wine, you know about Chardonnays. There's a butter aspect. I'm trying to explain as best as I can. And the char and that caramel from the bourbon really mixes well to come out with like a brown butter, like a cooked butter hint to it. Doesn't last long, but you definitely get that flavor. And then the pear, the sweetness comes through. So my pick would be the Chardonnay. The Cabernet Finish, excellent. Excellent bourbon, grapey, nutty. Like I said, almost like a peanut butter and jelly, but it's just not as sweet. So, there you have it, Thomas S. Moore. I know a lot of people are interested in it. There's not a lot of reviews out there. Glad I can help on this one. If it's a regular bourbon, or if it's a finished bourbon. Pop them, don't watch them.